All right. So I know it's been about a week or so since I dropped my last mock draft for the Detroit Lions. Had some extra time this week. So I figured I would come out with my 3.0 mock draft. So this one I will be including a trade as well. So keep keep that in mind here. I think this is what the Lions are going to do. This is my opinion. If you don't like it, go ahead, just leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think of it. I'm a very optimistic person. I'm not going to give you any bad feedback or anything like that. So let's get on with the mock draft because that's all what you guys want to know. So let's get to it. So the Lions in the first round carry the eighth selection in this draft in round one. And here we have a trade. The Miami Dolphins are going to trade up here and get their quarterback of the future in Dwayne Haskins. So in mind, Miami is in that boat here where they really don't have a quarterback. They're looking to the future. Dwayne Haskins is a pocket passer, and I think that's where Miami's going to go in the future. They tried the mobile quarterback in Ryan Tannehill, but that didn't work out. So Miami's going to trade up, and we are going to select for that trade. The Detroit Lions are going to get pick 13 in the first round, as well as a third round selection, which is pick 78. So keep that in mind here while I go on with this mock draft. All right, moving down to our first selection in the first round as we traded with the Miami Dolphins. Round one, pick 13. The Detroit Lions select Devin Bush, linebacker out of Michigan. He's 6 foot, 234. He has excellent range. I believe he's going to be a good outside linebacker in the league. He's a very physical linebacker as well as being able to pursue the ball, which is always a good thing when you look at linebackers. If Detroit don't trade, I can see them maybe getting Montez Sweat and or Devin White. But I think Devin Bush is a good complementary pick here. He's a very good linebacker, and he's very underrated, which is a good thing. And I really like the fit here. The Detroit Lions have watched him grow and develop since he did play a few miles away in Ann Arbor. So Devin Bush stays here in Michigan and plays for the Detroit Lions this coming season. Moving on to round two, where the Detroit Lions have pick 43. Here we could do one of multiple things. We could address the offensive line because that needs to be addressed still in this draft, as well as possibly trading down again, but I don't see that happening. So here I have the Detroit Lions selecting DeAndre Baker, the corner out of Georgia. 5'10", 185. He's going to be a instant starter here on the defensive front. Playing the number 2 corner position, and I think he reminds me a lot of a younger Darius Slay. He's obviously drafted a little bit higher due to he didn't have any injury concerns like Darius Slay to come into the league, so on and so forth. But DeAndre Baker, I like this selection. He's about the same size as Darius Slay as well as his play style, so I think that's a good fit. Moving on to round three, pick 78, which we got from Miami Dolphins in the trade, where we traded down with them so they could draft Dwayne Haskins. So here in the third round, we address something that we haven't addressed in a very long time, and that is quarterback. The Detroit Lions get their future quarterback in Tyree Jackson, the quarterback out of Buffalo. He's 6'7", 245. He's not an instant starter because we do have Matthew Stafford. He has the best arm in the league. Arm talent wise, strongest arm. He can get the ball pretty much anywhere out of any position being rushed, just due to the fact that he used to be a pitcher. But anyway, Tyree Jackson here, I really like this pick. We do have one of the better quarterback coaches in the league, and I think being Matthew Stafford's backup is only going to benefit to him due to the fact that Tyree Jackson is an excellent student. He's very smart, has a very high football IQ, as well as having a big arm. He's 6'7", 245, which is something that Detroit really hasn't ever had, is a tall quarterback who can see over our massive offensive line because Detroit is known to get big offensive linemen. Speaking of big offensive linemen, moving on to round second selection in the third round at pick 88. I have the Detroit Lions selecting Michael Jordan. Yes, I said Michael Jordan, the offensive guard out of Ohio State. 6'6", 312 pounds. This kid, I watched a few hours of video on him, and he's a very good guard slash center. He did play center for, I believe, one season at Ohio State, and we already have an awesome center. Um, but just due to his size, I would move him over to guard on the right hand side of the line. Frank Ragnow can now be moved to the left side. I believe he already played the left, but vice versa. But Michael Jordan, he's very stiff. Um, but he is a very good run blocker, which is always nice. But I think he's more at home when he is in a pass protection due to the fact he really doesn't like to get off the ball very fast. But Detroit, I think being in their scheme and being able to learn from some of the veteran guys that we have in Ricky Wagner is going to help him improve a little bit better in the future. Moving on to round 4, where we carry the 111th selection. The Detroit Lions are going to address another need that they addressed in free agency, and that is tight end. We did get Jesse James from the Pittsburgh Steelers this year in free agency, but Jesse James is a wild card. He could be amazing or he could flop, which that's why Detroit is kind of up in the air here. And I think Caleb Wilson, the tight end out of UCLA, is a great fit for our scheme. He's a very good route runner as well as possession tight end, which Detroit really doesn't have. He's 6'4", 240, so he's on the smaller side, but he's still a very good tight end. And I think that's what Detroit needs to bring in to pair with a Jesse James who's like 6'5", 6'6", just so we have a little bit of different types of tight ends that we can substitute in for different schemes and so on and so forth. Moving on to round 5, pick 146, the Detroit Lions address the biggest need, in my opinion, in this draft, and that is safety. I did in my one of my first original mock drafts. I don't know if I published it or not. Was getting Deontay Thompson, the safety out of Alabama, but I just think that a first round pick for safety is kind of a waste of a pick. So here I have them actually addressing the safety position and getting Mike Bell, the safety from Fresno State. This kid is one of my favorite safeties in the draft now. After I watched this film, just the way he plays the ball and how hard he hits, it's just like I'm watching Cam Chancellor play for the Seattle Seahawks. That is his play style. He's 6'3", 200 pounds, and he can lay the lumber. He is an amazing talent, and I just think that's something Detroit hasn't had in a very long time, is a big physical safety who can also play the ball and just very high football IQ. This kid is insane. Go watch some highlights. Like, he played against some pretty good schools, and just the way his level of play was against those schools was amazing. But moving on in the draft, we in the 6th round, pick 184. This is our first of 2 picks in the next 2 rounds. Is going to be Tavon Coney, the linebacker in Notre Dame. This kid has been slowly falling down draft boards for some reason. I don't know if it's due to size, off-field issues, or what, but I use DraftTech.com, and he was in this range, so I kind of figured he might still fall here. So Tavon Coney, I picked him up. We have one of the worst linebacking cores in the league. If we can get 2 solid people that we can plug in and start instantly, or even get depth at, that is an amazing thing we can do. Tavon Coney has a nose for the ball. He is a very, how can I put this? Very intelligent but yet dumb football player. He has a nose for the ball, so he can hunt it down. And when you need a play, he will make a play for you. He proved that at Notre Dame time and time again. So just keep in mind Tavon Coney could go earlier. We could get him in the 4th round, but I know Detroit Lions have brought him in and interviewed him, so we'll see what they do with him. Moving on to the next pick in the 6th round is pick 204. So here I have the Detroit Lions doing something very smart. Ugh. And that is getting a wide receiver. In the wide receiver, I believe we are going to get is Hunter Renfrow, the wide receiver at Clemson. He is a slot receiver. He reminds me a lot of Danny Amendola, who we just signed. Hunter Renfrow is a very young version of Danny Amendola / Julian Edelman. This kid, if you do not know who he is, go watch some film. This kid makes a play when he needs to make a play. The national championship game, this kid was all over the field. You could not stop him. Like Hunter Renfrow, some kid that was a walk-on for Clemson, came out there and he balls out time and time again. When they need someone to get 5-10 yards, get the ball to Hunter. He will get there. He's not very fast. He's quicker than he is fast, as Mike Mayock would say. But Hunter Renfrow is an excellent talent here in the 6th round. 6th round pick. Hunter Renfrow. Keep that in mind, people. Moving on, round 7. Here I still have us going defensive line. Josiah Coatney, best one on the board. Give us a little bit more depth on the defensive line, because let's face it, A'Shawn Robinson, Damon Harrison, aren't really able to play every down. They need to be in a sub package. So just building depth at that defensive line, that's never a bad thing here in Detroit. And the last pick. This is pick 229 in the 7th round. The Detroit Lions are on the clock. And this player is still on the board. They're taking him. And that's Isaiah Johnson Jr., the corner from Houston. 6'2", 6'3", 195. This kid is ridiculous. He has great length, speed, as well as ball awareness. And for being in the 7th round and getting a talent as good as him is going to be ridiculous. Like, I don't know if this kid's going to be here, but according to Draft Tech, this is his range. So, just as Isaiah Johnson Jr., I watched some film of him today. There's not very much because he did play for a subpar Houston team. But the Houston's been pretty good lately, and he's been a part of that defense. But he plays the ball, high points it. He has great recovery speed. I think at the combine he ran like a 4.4, 4.3, so he's crazy fast for especially his size. And I think building him and bringing him just in for depth and sub packages like the nickel and so on and so forth, that's going to be a good pickup for the Detroit Lions and a great value in the 7th round. Anyway, subscribe my channel. Let me know what you guys think. I will be trying to come out with a 4.0 version, maybe in the next week or two. I know I haven't been very active. I've been very busy with work, but as I said, subscribe my channel, hit that little bell icon up in the corner so you know when my videos are uploaded. I don't know if it's up top or below, but just hit that little bell icon. That'll give you a notification as soon as my videos upload. And just always leave a comment. You guys have a good one, and I'm out.